Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar. Before we begin, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your audience console are multiple application widgets you can use. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can submit your questions in the Q&A box, and they'll be answered at the end of the presentation. You can also expand your slide area by clicking on the Maximize icon on the top right of the slide viewer. If you have any technical difficulties, please click on the Help widget. If you can please take a moment to fill out the survey at the end of the webinar, that would be awesome. I will now hand the deck over to your speaker. Enjoy the webinar. All right, off to you, Kim.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time today. So I am going to take a review of our client enhanced experience for our new Insight.com user interface. So what the plan was for this is that back in July, we actually rolled this out to a pilot group of clients, and then as we are adding additional features and functionalities, we are migrating our clients over to this user interface. So the whole idea behind this is that we actually went to our clients, to some of those out there, and actually did some what we called health checks, or our project was actually named Voice of the Customer. And so we heard from many of you about what our interface that we have currently, what you liked and what you didn't like about it. And so then we've got our developers working hard on the task of creating an interface that really works for you. So what you are seeing on my screen right now is what you will see when you log into Insight.com and you land into your environment. So the first page here is your account settings. So this is where everything kind of just lands you in here for you to be able to see your personal information, addresses, your login information, some user preferences, payment methods, as well as up here on the top, you can see where you can pull your invoices, your quotes, your orders, and we can turn on a dashboard setting for you as well. Behind this is, basically kind of a one pane of glass for you to be able to view and to do the navigation from here. So one of the big things we heard as part of our reaching out to our clients, the very first one is, we want to be able to find items a little easier. So we do have the shop pane up here. And we did expand on some of this, on the, some of these stayed the same, but we did expand on these. So you can kind of get down to things within the environment just at a product category level. So you can do it that way. You also have the ability, of course, at the very top is where you can do a search. And so part of the search now, you can use keywords, part numbers, and just so you know, Insight part numbers are usually the same as the manufacturer part numbers, so you don't need a translator. So you can start typing in here. It will actually start auto-correct or auto-populating. So if I would start putting in laptops, you're going to see that it's going to start kind of, realizing and recognizing that. So you can do it in that way. You can also do it by a part number. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put in laptop. And so this is where, of course, you get to the search screen itself. And within the search, there are a few things that have kind of changed according to, the new face compared to the old one. Before, we had a lot of these attributes on the side. We have expanded the attributes so that you can click on these as you go through them. But I can say my manufacturer, maybe I only want to see Lenovo, or I want to see Lenovo and maybe Dell. You will see that as you click those, you don't actually have to apply any filters. It will automatically apply them. If you decide at the top, you say, you know what, I don't want to see the Dell, you can actually clear out the filters or clear them all. So you can see that information. You can also see where the stocking is, if it's in stock, if it's a limited stock. And the limited stock, the whole idea behind that is that we don't want you to order more than what's available. So this is where you will work with your team, your account managers on our team. If you do need more stock than what is available, it will allow you to put the number of items in the stock that is available, but if you exceed it, it'll actually tell you that it has exceeded. The other thing is you will see, of course, just like most e-commerce sites and like our current platform does, when you click on it, it of course gives you the pictures and the information, your pricing. This one will show you there's only 4 left in stock, so that's where it's going to kind of give you that heads up right away. And then you can, of course, add any sort of additional warranties right from here. It will show you the better together. So this will kind of give you the information, like you want to know which docking station it goes to, or any of that. And then, of course, down here, this is where you see tabs for whether it's, information like the overview, the actual specific specifications. So you're going to see that. You actually see a compare similar as well. Accessories will be shown in here, and these are the accessories that are compatible, and you can see it, for this, there's quite a few, so you can actually expand that. Again, any of those extended warranties or protection plans, and then any reviews. So this is how it works for looking at all of this information. In addition, we've also got an enhanced feature, and I'm just going to put a part number in here. We do have an enhanced feature for getting information for like this. This is an Apple, an iPad. Now with this, there's multiple colors, there's multiple things that you can do with this. This is where, rather than having a list of SKUs or a list of products that's in your search bar that's going to give you, each individual one as a list, now you can actually toggle your colors, see the stock information for each one of those types of products for the different features. So again, this is allowing you to toggle which size, and this one is the flash memory, the coloring, things like that, all from one screen. So this allows you to kind of get that information without going through several of the others. And then, of course, from here, you would just add to cart. And then, of course, determine, do the shopping experience from there just as normal. Now, I'm going to go back to the actual account settings page, because this is also, again, where you can do the information for specifics for your account. So if you need to add a new address, you can actually manage your addresses in here. So this is where you can add additional shipping addresses. You can delete shipping addresses that maybe you don't need anymore, or the pencil allows you to edit those addresses. It does the same thing for your billing address. So you can actually do that yourself. So you can add new addresses, again, right from here. Is it a shipping address or a billing address? A lot of folks might have multiple credit cards that might have different billing addresses, and we know that you need that information. In addition to that, not only can you, I'm going to go back to the account settings page, not only can you update and manage your addresses, you can also manage your payment methods. So you can do things like that. You can also, preferences. This is a great one because, do you want it in HTML or do you want it on PDF? Do you want the emails to be sent to you just on orders or on quotes or on both? So there's a lot of different features you can turn on with this. In addition, again, we have the ability to see the activity that's happening on your account. So we do have the ability to turn on a dashboard. And of course, the dashboard is just a 50,000-foot view of what is the activity that's happening within your account. So you can actually see any recent orders, recent quotes, invoices, things like that. If you are more interested in the invoices, you can actually move these around, and you can do anything that you want within here to actually view this. Now, the view all actually takes you to the same place as when you're in the system here, as the orders, quotes, invoices here, or under the drop down that says orders, quotes, and invoices here. So this is where you can get to that information for, pulling an invoice and printing it out, or pulling a quote and actually converting it to an order, or again, looking at orders that have already been placed and the tracking and the information like that. Now, once you're in any of these screens and you can actually pull up the information regarding, in this case, I'm going to look at orders. You can, of course, change the date range. You can look for orders just by putting in, the purchase order, the order number, the reference number, PO number, things like that. And if you start with just the first 3 characters, it will actually pull it up with that information. So you don't actually need to have the full invoice number or the full order number. Of course, it will narrow down your search, but this allows you to see that information. And the quoting and or invoice lookup works the same way. And then, of course, once you are in that order or once you are in that quote, you can then pull or do whatever activities you need to do. So if I look at the quotes, it's, of course, going to pull up any of the quotes that have been done within a certain amount of time. If you need to convert a quote to order, you can actually do it right from the main page here. If it has not already been converted to a quote or to an order, or if it hasn't expired. So it will show you the information right from this page. And then again, once you figure out, okay, this is the quote I want to look at, now I can actually open it up if you want prior to doing any quote conversion and see exactly what it is, where it's been, how it's been set up. And then you can convert to order here. Basically, when you convert to an order, it's just putting it in your shopping cart for you to do a checkout. So from here, of course, you have a couple of different screens. You have a quick checkout and a regular checkout. The quick checkout actually will allow you to do a checkout with all the defaults in place. And a regular checkout takes you to the actual, each of the different screens, such as build to, ship to. And then saving as a quote is if you want to save this again as a new quote. I'm going to go ahead and hit the checkout. And from here, you will actually, and I apologize, this should not be turned on. We can, in this case, we actually do have what we call smart trackers on our side. And basically it's an order information screen. And what this is this allows us to gather information for you at time of order. It's nothing that Insight needs in order to process the order, but it's an information gathering area if there's items that you want us to put on, for instance, like your invoice. So maybe if you have an end user name, help desk ticket number, a customer company code, billing unit, business unit, anything like that, we can actually create these for you, put them on your invoice, and then hopefully that kind of alleviates some of the questions that might come back to you from your accounts payable department of what this is, or what do you have this, where does this go, what bucket does it go into. Now, once I've submitted that, I'm going to hit, it's of course going to say, okay, this is the information that we have for, this is what you're buying. So now it's going to say, what's the shipping address? Just like any other e-commerce site that's out there, really it's like, where are you shipping? So we have a default in place. You can, of course, look up the stored addresses, and you do have the ability to search. In this case, I have a lot of billing addresses in my demo account. You can actually search, and you can search by a city name, by a street name, by the name of that's actually listed as the name here. Postal code, anything like that to help you kind of, weed through it if you've got several. Now I'm going to go ahead and check this one and say, okay, I want to change it. And so now you're going to see this. Of course, it's going to ask for the contact name and the phone number. This is not mandatory, but of course, it depends on how big or how many employees you might have at a location that information might be well suited to put in there. So now once we said where we're shipping it, of course, the next thing is what the billing address is. So now it's going to show this information. Again, what is the bill to? If you are using like a credit card, you might need to change that to match the credit card information that you're putting in. Of course, it will keep the default in place. And then from here, now you can say, okay, this is my shipping address, this is my billing address, and what's in my cart. So until you actually hit the place order button, you have the ability to go back and edit any of these fields. The shipping address on here, of course, this is, I'm showing you this is actually a cloud-based license. So it didn't ask for the shipping information as far as more than, asking if it's ground shipping, if it needs to be overnighted or anything like that. But that would be also a screen that you would see. And then, of course, you hit place order, and the order placement screen will then say, okay, thank you for your order. And it will give you an order confirmation. And of course, once you've placed the order, the $50,000 question is, where's my stuff, right? So this is where we have the ability to, of course, track an order and do all of that information. And so if you, and unfortunately, my account doesn't have any orders in here, but just as we looked in the screen earlier for the quoting, you would see a list here of the items that have been processed as an order. When you open up that order, it of course will give you serial number information. It'll give you tracking information. It'll give you proof of delivery. And it will also give you a link for your invoice, which will then take you to the invoice screen for you to be able to look at that invoice, download it, do anything that you need to do. So that's pretty much it that I have for our time today. If there's any questions, I can now review them. And I'm not seeing any questions in the box. All right, well, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.
I think we actually have one question in the chat.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Looks like we've got a question asking, would the sales rep offer a lower price than on the portal?
So that's a great question. So with the way that it works for the sales team and how they do business, what they do is they actually, for each account, they actually set that, for any sort of contracted pricing or any sort of pricing that they will, that they've agreed with you on, or what their normal market would be. And so what that will show is what's in the site. So the pricing has been set by your sales team already. Now, with that being said, maybe you're going to order 25 of these laptops or 25 items or something like that. So if you're going to order a larger amount or something that you think might give you a volume discount or something like that, what you can always do is save the item as a quote, because anytime you place an order or do a quote in the system, your sales rep is given an email that allows them to see that there's been some activity on the account. So when you're actually creating a quote, you can put that quote in. Your sales team is going to see that. Any quote notes you put in there, they will actually see the quote. If they decide, okay, because this is a bulk discount, or we're running a special or anything like that, they decide that they're going to go ahead and change the pricing, the next time you pull that quote up, you'll actually see that price reflected on that quote specifically, and then you can always convert the order from there. Great question. And do we have any other questions?
Looks like a couple just came in the Q&A. And the chat as well, actually.
Okay.
Looks like we have a question asking where they get their login information.
Your login information, chances are if you've received this information invite for this session, basically just go to insight.com. You can put in your email address as a forgot password, and you will be able to then set your secured password to be able to access the site. If you try that and it doesn't work, you can always reach out to your sales team, because as much as we like to brag on the new systems and how we're working to enhance, it will never replace the work that your sales teams do for you. So they'll still be your same contact information for this. So if you have any need for follow-up, feel free to reach out to your sales team. All right.
Awesome. It looks like we have another question asking, Chris says, normally we are on a PO order basis. If we needed to do a credit card purchase as a one-off, is that an option at checkout?
Absolutely. So what would happen is it would ask for your payment type, and then it would put you credit card or terms, and you would just be able to toggle between the two, put in your PO number for any PO purchases, of course, and then credit card will ask you for your credit card. Within the main screen, your account screen, that's where you can actually add credit cards. So it's kept on a secured server outside of our inside environment, but you would be able to personally add your credit cards in. We can't do that for you, but you can add multiple credit cards as well.
John asks, will it deliver to your place of business, or do we just need a confirmation or something of proof, or just delivery, no proof of anything of purchase and proof of payment?
All right, let me see the question. Will it deliver to your place of business? All right, so what happens, and I think I'm getting the gist of the question here. So we do have auto ship notifications. So you're going to get some confirmations, a couple different ones. The first one is once you place the order, you're going to get an order confirmation. It's going to tell you this is your Insight order number, and it'll give you all the details. Then once either, whether it's the items are coming from our Insight facilities or one of our distribution channel partners, or from the manufacturer direct, once we get notified that that has shipped, you will get a second email with a ship notification that will say your item shipped. Here's your tracking information and a link to the tracking for you to be able to see when that is the ETA for arrival, and be able to keep track of that through either UPS or FedEx or anything like that. In addition to that, you'll also be able to get the proof of delivery for the item once it has shipped, with, for anything that signature requires, somebody signed for it, it'll actually show you who's signed for it. So you'll be able to track that information. All right. Do we have any other questions? I'm trying to look through here too.
Looks like the only other questions are about us being able to see the webinar after this concludes. So for anyone with that question, yes, the webinar will be available on demand following this. The link that you use to join will also work for you to watch it on demand.
Amazing. And then in addition to that, if you still have any sort of questions regarding your navigation, anything like that, feel free to reach out to your sales team. If they're not able to answer your question, my team will be happy to get online and actually walk you through any of the questions or comments you might have about the site.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone.